What's going on, everybody? This is Renegade #1, aka the Feminist Killer, #Logitorian. Look at solitude as a good thing, not a bad thing. And I know for the most part, people perceive, solitude as, oh, I'm lonely, I'm depressed. That's not solitude. My thing is, if you remove yourself from the NPCs and the masses, you should feel a sense of, well, I'll speak for myself. I feel a sense of relief when I'm by myself, when I'm alone, when I'm in solitude. Solitude is a weapon, not a curse. Look at that as, that's how you have to look at it as. This is a weapon. It protects you. It shields you. And my thing is, why would you want to socialize with a world that you know is not on your wavelength? You understand? Why would you want to socialize with a world that's going to call you mentally ill, or they're going to cast some type of negative judgment on you anyway? You already understand that when you absorb this type of esoteric information, you understand that 99% of humanity is not going to agree with you. They're not going to flock towards your direction. Most people are cowards. Most people, they flock towards conformity. So you're going to have those people that are going to be like, yeah, I see what you're saying, but they're still going to conform. So regardless of what you do, you're always going to have solitude to rely on. People are going to come and go in your life. And that's why I always remind you guys that you cannot hold on to anybody. You can't make anybody see your perception. You cannot make anybody get on your wavelength. If somebody's not on your wavelength, they're not on your wavelength. And they may never be that way. Another thing is, the older you become, the harder it is to break blue pill habits. The harder it is to break the addiction. The harder it is to undo the blindfold. The longer you sit in your programming, the longer you sit in your condition, the harder it is to break out of it. Everybody can't break out of the mental prison. There's some that are subscribed to me still. They're still in that mental prison. And they unfortunately call themselves black pill. That's what I'm saying. You're not black pill if you can't free yourself overall from the mental prison. And that takes overall commitment. It takes overall commitment. It takes overall effort. It takes a lot of introspection. I'm still working on myself. I'm still working on doing introspection. Introspection does not stop. For those who don't know what introspection is, you're looking at yourself in the mirror. You're always figuring out, what are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? And you're working on those things constantly. You can't say, oh, it's too hard, I'm just going to settle and, give in. Don't give in to influence like the rest of those other clowns and those sheeple. The sheeple, the herd mentality, the NPCs, whatever you want to label them as, they give in to the influence. When you take in the black pill and you resort to solitude, you're saying to yourself, I don't need these people to validate me. I don't need people to rely on in my hard times. I'm above the influence. And for the most part, that's why I condition myself to be alone every single day. I don't leave my house unless I go to work or if I need to get something from the store. I condition myself. At first, I'm not going to lie, your mind is going to find it uncomfortable because you want to step outside your door. You want to get some fresh air. But for me, I don't need that. I don't find that necessary because I visualize myself in that situation previously, and I understand that if I do it again, it's not going to be anything different, right? And so pretty much you have to condition yourself not to want anything outside of your door. Understand that outside that door is a toxic world. You know, some will say, oh, you're living in fear, but no, you're protecting yourself from bad company. Like I said before, I think in the last video or whatever video I said before, you should be alone rather than be around a group of idiots, a group of blue pillars, a group of, you know, degenerates or whatever you want to call them. You know, because being around people who make you feel alone is the worst feeling in the world. You might as well just be by your damn self. You know, I don't want to be around people who don't understand me, who question me, who don't even bother to change their circumstances. You know, everybody's not going to get it. A lot of people are not going to get it. That's why I say, to be honest, this ideology is the 1%, the 1%er ideology. That's what it is. It's the 1%er ideology. It's the esoteric ideology. It's something that you really have to dig deep in to understand. You know, when things get stressed out, when you're alone, when things get stressed out, you don't resort to smoking weed. You don't resort to alcoholism. You don't resort to doing drugs. You resort to solitude. Solitude is your weapon. What do you do during solitude that helps you? Meditate. You want to resort to healthier coping mechanisms. Smoking weed is not a healthy coping mechanism. A lot of y'all do that. Alcoholism, obviously, that's not a healthy mechanism. Coping mechanisms that help cure you. Cure, keyword. Meditation is a cure. You understand? Smoking weed and drugs, they're masking agents. They help cover and numb the pain temporarily. That shit doesn't work. For me, it's easy to say that because I've never done drugs. I've never done them. But if you are a person who's struggling to transition from the degenerate lifestyle that you are used to live to being black pilled, you have to take it day by day. Some days you may fall, but you got to get back up and try again. You know, you have to get yourself out of that lifestyle. You cannot continuously live that lifestyle. Again, solitude is your weapon. Meditation is your weapon. Obviously, communicating with me, venting is a weapon. You want to use healthier options. And that's another thing that's fucked up in our society is we don't like to use healthier options. We like to go towards destructive options. You know, we don't value being healthy anymore. You know, oh, you're a do-gooder or you're too clean. Why wouldn't you want to live a clean lifestyle? Why wouldn't you want to break out of those fucked up habits? You know, the thing is, stop chasing highs. That's the thing. If you're still chasing highs, aka drugs, smoking weed, and drinking, you're not black pill because you still need to mask the reality that you're living in. You can't handle it. You're mentally not there. You're mentally weak. You keep giving in. And you cannot, don't take my criticism personal. I'm just telling it how it is. And so my thing is, you have to look up healthier ways to cope with this reality. I could take this reality head on, but everybody's not there on my level. Everybody's not going to be on my wavelength. So I understand that. So my thing is, if you're serious about changing your life, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and you got to put the work in. You know, and that's the thing I had to learn. I said this last time, I probably did. You know, I was telling a brother, like, you can't hold on to your friends. Your friends are not gonna take the same stuff you take seriously. They're not gonna take it seriously. They're not gonna value that. You know, so some people will get what I'm saying. A lot won't. That's the reality. A few of you will understand what I'm talking about. The majority of you probably won't process that. You know, a lot of you, and the thing is, when a person has practiced a bad habit over a long period of time, it's pretty much embedded in them. So that's why you can pretty much write off the majority of humanity. You can't save everybody. They're done. They already chose their way permanently for the rest of their lives. They chose to be in a state of dysfunction for the rest of their lives. If you don't want to be in a state of dysfunction for the rest of your life, you have a choice. And the thing is, like I said this before, you got easy choices and you got hard choices. And if you're serious about growth, if you're serious about, living a life of righteousness or whatever, living a healthy life, which this society shames you for, because again, this society is a degenerate society. So if you live in a degenerate society, we support the abnormalities and the things that are not good for you. That's the society that we live in. That's actually the world we live in. We glorify the shit that fucks you up. You got to do the opposite of what the society tells you. In order to prosper, in order to see the bullshit, you got to remove yourself. But that's something that I definitely want y'all to focus on, is turning more towards solitude and embracing that stuff. You start to reflect on your life. You start to open up more. Again, be sober. That's what you want to shoot for. Drink more water. Eat fruit. Go, like I said, go surf the internet on different stoic techniques. All that type of shit. And work on it. Improve. Don't be a sheep. Don't be weak-minded. And pretty much, man, like I said, at the end of the day, when you master being alone, when you master solitude, and you actually look at solitude as a state of peace and not a state of loneliness, you won't ever need to rely on humanity again. That's the thing. People who rely on socializing with people, rely on having friends, rely on having social media and all that validation bullshit, they're the ones who are weak. They're the ones that are scared. Because if you remove yourself, then they got to go find somebody else. See, if people cut you off, you won't panic because you like being alone. You embrace solitude. When you embrace suffering, when you embrace stoicism, you can turn any situation into a good situation. That's the true meaning of stoicism. That's the true meaning of stoicism. Solitude teaches you you learn more about yourself when you're around yourself. You will start to realize that the average human being does not know themselves. I could walk past a person on the sidewalk and I can sense their insecurities. And it's like I said, man, everybody, for the most part, how can you can't fuck with someone who's not on your wavelength, who doesn't have your level of understanding. Humanity as a whole will never wake up. Humanity as a whole will never wake up. Never. Every time you're being programmed not to see the truth. So that's why the only person you can count on is yourself. Again, when times get hard, you turn towards yourself. Don't turn towards drugs. Don't turn towards alcohol. Turn towards yourself. Breathe. But if you don't take it serious and you take it as a fucking joke and you want to write it off, then you continue going down that path. But for those who want to be, serious and receptive, then this is for you. But anyway, this is Renegade number 1. Again, you have my number. Again, you have yourself. That's all you need. You're more powerful than anybody else. You are your biggest enemy or your biggest hero. You got to decide. But solitude, well, is good for you. Peace.